Hey everybody, welcome back. You may be wondering where I've been. Well, this weekend I attended the Los Angeles Regional Qualifiers event for Yu-Gi-Oh! And I managed to participate in it with Super Polly. I entered the tournament and Super Polly and I both managed to get 5 our entry money. Is this what it is? Hopefully we can pull a Starlight Rare for King's Pools. Alright, I also have my deck. I brought Yubel, Ashen, who you see in the background, is what I managed to bring. And can it real life, was it? It's like Master Duel deck. Can it play in real life? And yes it did. My record was 5-2 and 2 draws. So it was X2-2. It's pretty impressive how this deck managed to function in this tournament style, especially now. I went against 2 Labyrinth decks, 2 Ryzeal decks, an Ancient Gear deck, which one? A Mermail deck as well. All great duelists, phenomenal. Oh, and shout out to Kangas. I managed to duel him as well. Phenomenal. It was a Blue Eyes Primite deck. It was amazing. Our duel was really great. So that was really cool. I managed to duel Kangas. That was pretty impressive right there. Running full on Kaiba. It was amazing. But he beat me. He told me. Oh my gosh. Well deserved 2-0. Well deserved loss. But let's go ahead and get into the deck profile that I have right here. So let's get into that. Everybody, welcome to the deck list portion of the video. So this was the deck that I managed to take to the qualifiers at Los Angeles. The deck that I played was Yubel, Ashen. I had 19 Yubel cards. Then I had 23 Ashen cards. Pretty much all gas. And then I have a few filler cards in there, but they all vary depending on the player. These are the cards that I felt that were best utilized for the tournament. But let's go ahead and get into the profile. So I would start off with the Yubel engine. I start off with 1 squirmer. I only run 1. I feel as if 1 was all I needed for the entire deck. I run 3 D-Lotus. That's going to be your best starter. D-Lotus, you have to have them. It's your starter. It brings you a Nima. It gets you Yubel, Spirit, or Yubel. It's really great. Also, it's the Fiend monster to go into Phantom. You want to see as many as you want. As many as you can have in the hand. Your starters, your Yubel deck. I have Yubel player. Then you're going to want to run 3 Spirit of Yubels. I run 3 Spirit of Yubels because no matter what, even if I do not have the right utilities in my hand, I would have a free monster during the battle phase, which helps out a lot. It'll protect you from battle. So it's pretty cool. It's like it is a Nightmare Pain Searcher. It can be special with D-Lotus and also instantly just go into Phantom. It's an infinite monster, infinite battle fader. I love the Spirit of Yubel. It comes in handy. And of course, you're going to want to run your main Yubel monster. I am a big fan of Yubel. I love Yubel so much. I am running 3 no matter what in my deck. I also run 2 Terra Incarnates. Terra Incarnate, love them as well. You want to keep seeing these Yubel cards in your hand because it's such a heavy deck. Beat more than about 51 cards for this profile that you might not see them all the time. And also if it's a brick, it could just be shuffled back for Phantom. So I don't really see that much of a problem to run 2. I also run the 1 Ultimate Nightmare. Ultimate Nightmare, I love the entire Yubel package, and I run the entire Yubel package. I sometimes go vary from 1 to 2 Ultimate Nightmares, but because of Phantom being at 1, I'm just going to keep the 1 Ultimate Nightmare. In the tournament, I managed to see play with Ultimate Nightmare twice. He managed to stay on the field for quite a while. Terra Incarnate saw the field once. Yubel saw the field all day long. Alright, now let's go in. That's enough for the monsters. Let's go into the spells. I'm going to start off with the field spell. Nightmare Throne, the non-Yubel searchable card that cannot be searched by Spirit Yubel, but it's the field card. Nightmare Throne gets you your Yubel cards, gets you your utilities that you really need. Helpful. And the way I use Nightmare Throne for this deck is that I do not activate it to add the Lotus to my hand. It's not my priority. What I use is if I start with Nightmare Throne, I would activate Nightmare Throne, destroy Spirit of Yubel from the deck, use Spirit of Yubel's effect, special Yubel from the deck, and instantly go Phantom. that right there is protection for any of my cards in my hand. It could be the Veidos, it could be the Priestess. Cards that are potentially ashable are now protected with Phantom by using this as my strategy. We also have the Nightmare Pain. Obviously, you're going to have Yubel on that field. Protection. I would usually have Nightmare Pain on the field just to have it on the field. Summon Phantom. Don't even use the effect to search sometimes. Then I would manage to just survive the battle phase and they attack me and Spirit's in my hand. So if I show my opponent this card and I don't even really use it, my opponent doesn't really know that I have Spirit in my hand, and that kind of helped me play this mind game against my opponent. Then they end up attacking me and I had Spirit in the hand. I can summon Spirit without them even knowing that Pain is still active on the field, and I usually get game from there. That's my strategy on how I use Pain in this version of the deck. And also, it's really great, helps you destroy Yubel, search monster, add to hand, special Yubel card turn, incarnate, Spirit Yubel, yada yada. And for the trap, I run one Eternal Favorite. Eternal Favorite was used only twice. Not really effective. I mainly have to just keep special summoning my Yubel. But Eternal Favorite kept getting popped, kept getting destroyed. But when I did use it, I managed to put follow up on the board. Fused once using Eternal Favorite, and that was it. So yep, that is the Yubel package. Pretty awesome right there. Really consistent 19 cards. The Ashen part. The Ashen comes in clutch so much. Not one card was a brick, especially using Nightmare Pain. I'll get into that after I show you this. So, with the Ashen engine, you're going to want to run 3 Priestess. Your starter, your fuel, your gas, your everything. Priestess searches pretty much every Ashen card in your deck. She's one of the most greatest tools in the deck, I believe. Saw her 90% of the time. Hard summoned her. Bam, they managed to ash my D Lotus. Alright, D Lotus goes to the graveyard because of its tribute cost. I then psych him out. I go Phantom. Then I use Obsidim City. I special summon Priestess. Or if I summon Priestess, they imprint Priestess. Bam, I normal summon D Lotus. It's amazing. So I run 3 of her. I run 2 Shaman of the Ashen City. I run 2 of them. I don't really need 3. I did use her shuffle back effect like once. I believe it was only once, and it didn't really change the tides. I still managed to get the win without her effect being active because I didn't have a Veidos to destroy this field spell. But to return your pyro monsters, it's kind of great for resource reasons, but I just have her as a 4-star so it joins my ranks. Then we're going to run 1 Spearhead. Okay, now Spearhead, I do run 1. I do not have that much respect for this card, but this card came in clutch at the tournament. I did manage to use the effect to bounce more of my opponent's cards back to their hand by tributing them, and that gave me monster advantage on the field. So Spearhead does come in handy. I still would only run 1 because I can recycle them. But other than that, Spearhead I just run around 1. He's searchable. You can return it back with Ashen for Eternity. So good utility card. You could just use 1 because you can spam it like 3 times. And if the duel doesn't last that long, you just need the 1, just to have that body removal or that bait. Yep. Then I run 2 King of the Ashen City. I am using this card along with Priestess. Whoever gets summoned first, we're using him. Veidos on the field. Use King, special summon from the deck an Ashen monster. If you have an Ashen monster in the hand, you can special summon it as a free monster. King is really clutch when I show you how to use. When I probably go to the combo section, I'll show you how to use the deck properly and utilize King. King can special summon an Ashen monster from the deck if your opponent controls a 2800 monster or more on the field. Going against the Labyrinth decks against my opponent and their Ancient Gear deck was really great because their monsters are higher than 2800. So when I would summon King, I didn't even have to go full on combo. So that was cool in itself. Just summon King, special from the deck, and then just go off from there. Next one is your boss monster, Veidos, the Eruption Dragon of Extinction. Veidos, the Eruption Dragon of Extinction. This is your boss monster, this is your clutch monster, this is your main monster. You want to see this card in your hand every single time with Priestess specifically, and all these other support cards I'm going to show you in my hand. Veidos was seen 99% in my hand. 99% was seen. I had the cards to add them to my hand, I had the cards to use as effect during the main phase. Veidos saw the field all the time. Really consistent. Now to get Veidos to the hand immediately, you're going to want to go ahead and go into your spell cards. Awakening of Veidos. Awakening of Veidos cannot be searched. It's not an Ashen card, which kind of sucks. So this card I had to hard draw it. But thankfully I had the power of like 2 draws. So I managed to like just draw it consistently. And usually I'll have 2 in my hand. So 1 would activate, they ash it. And then bam, we're pretty much done from there. But funny thing is, I was only ashed once, and the only one that successfully ashed me, I believe, was Kangas. That's crazy. Nobody ashed me. I was more charmed by my first duelist, but that kind of ended horribly because I had to end my turn because I had a full hand and I did not want to draw them, give them advantage on their draw power. Until I found out what kind of deck I was going against, and then I managed to defeat them. Okay. That's for your quick play spell for Awaken Veidos. This card allows you to place a field card anywhere on your side or your opponent's. If you do your opponent's, you can add an Ashen card from 5 or higher Pyro monster from the deck to the hand. 5 or higher Dark Pyro from the deck to the hand. Came real clutch, Awaken Veidos. If they imprime you, ash you with the Yubel engine, you just go to this card and then bam, GG's. You're gonna go ahead and also want to have 3 Obsidim cities. This card is crazy. Gets destroyed, special. Gets banished, special. Being on the field, having a 1 in the graveyard, free draw. It's really great. Really cool card. It's pretty much a free monster. Now you're going to go into your other card. Your polymerization, pretty much. Extinguishing the Ashen. 100% use this card. Added, searched, send. It was great. Kept banishing it from the graveyard. Kept fusing. But once again, my weakness from it was Kangas. I went against him. He used one of the Primite cards that managed to banish my cards for fusion material. He managed to have full advantage of it and managed to use one of my fusions as materials, which gave him the advantage over me. So, dang it. Extinguishing the Ashen is your polymerization. You're going to want to hold on to this for as long as you can to have those 3 pyros for Veidos. If not, you're just going into Embers. Embers is pretty great, the fusion monster, but it's not your end board that you're going to want to have. Okay, so I have 2 Extinguishing the Ashen. For your traps, Ashen Endlessness, it's a super poly with Veidos on the field. It's incredible. I managed to use this card once successfully when it was on the field. Managed to use it too soon because my opponent managed to still gain follow-up, so that was my bad. It just depends on who you're battling and whether or not you have the confidence to just commit to that fusion summon, because that could happen where you do it too soon or too late, and I managed to, in this tournament, do it too soon. Happens in battle. But this card is really great. Secondary effect is that if you have an Ashen monster in your graveyard, and this card's in your graveyard, you could banish both the monster and this card from the graveyard, and for the rest of the turn, your opponent's monster becomes Pyro. I managed to do that effect with Labyrinths, but I did that effect as well too soon, and I turned their Labyrinth monsters Pyro when Big Welcome was still active, and it didn't really matter because he just kept it. And then I ended my then he ended his turn, it was my turn, and I had nothing. I just wasted that. And then I had my turn, and then they went Chaos Angel, and then we ended up having to draw from there. So that was kind of crazy. And if I managed to turn them into Pyros, that would have changed the tide because he used Big Welcome at the time. So they misplay there. Okay, that's Ashen Endlessness, pretty good. And the card that's the clutchest of them all, Ashen for Eternity. This card is incredible. Adds you an Ashen or Veidos from the graveyard to hand on activation. Plus, its lingering effect could just be if you have a monster that you own and it's on your opponent's side of the field, you could take that monster back. That's how you get back your Veidos. I did that, and then after you do that successfully, you can make all your opponent's monsters lose attack equal to that monster that you took back, that you take control back. They lose attack equal to that monster's attack. So they'll be losing 2,800 every single time I manage to use it. And that's exactly what happened throughout the tournament. I managed to get back my Veidos when in those key moments, reduce them all to 0 attack, and then I get follow-up. I get to survive one more turn, so that's pretty cool. So that's all the Ashen package I run. 23 cards, I believe? Pretty crazy. Okay, so these, now we're on the non-engine cards. These are the cards that just help push the deck forward, maybe fight a little harder against them, just goes in case those hands that I get that might be bricks or so. I ran these cards as my non-starters. I ran one Ghost Ogre, I ran one Lancia, and I ran one Kestir Ogre. I run Kestir Ogre for if I draw them and special summon them, I can now go into my Priestess, go into my D Lotus, and in case my opponent activates an Ash Blossom, I can go ahead and activate this card's effect and look at the top 2 cards of their deck, and I'll be able to just banish one of them. Now I know exactly what they're going to be drawing the next turn, in case I need to know that. And I feel as if that Ogre gives you that nice card advantage to just banish the first one, and they draw the second one and you're just aware of it. So that came in handy. I used this against my opponent, my Ryzeal opponent. What they managed to do though is that, what they managed to have is that when I activated this monster's effect, Ogre's effect, to look at the top 2 cards of their deck, wow, this person just was a top deck master of just staples. His top decks were Imperm and Dimension Barrier. And I was like, oh, come on. So I managed to just banish the Imperm and let him draw a Dimension Barrier. That gives me a turn if he sets it. And he had 2 cards in hand, so I knew what that card was. But Ogre does have that. It came in clutch. No support cards. Lancia. Cards work in the graveyard. Cards banish to get further extension when you destroy them, when they're sent to the graveyard. So this is to prevent all that extension that my opponent would have had if it's cards that banish from the graveyard or from the hand or from the deck or when they're summoned. So I use Lancia. Lancia saw play once, but not in the way that it was supposed to be used. I managed to set him for pressure. My opponent lightning storms. Bam, special summon Lancia, that was it. Ghost Ogre was not seen at all in the deck throughout the entire battle, but Ghost Ogre is still a good utility card to pop any monster that activates. I was hoping when I was batting a Ryzeal player I would draw this card, but I never did. But it would still be a great staple to have. Another monster is mandatory. Volcanic Emperor. This card is searchable with the Banshee from the extra deck that I have, that I will show you guys. Volcanic Emperor, on summon and activation of his effect, if it goes through to burn your opponent, you'll use Volcanic Emission, set this card. So what I used, Volcanic Emperor was the clutchest card in the entire duel. If you see the Ashen videos, the episodes that I've had, Volcanic Emperor is one of the clutchest cards. It will banish your 3 Pyros from the graveyard, including your Banshee once you summon it. We'll get to that. Burns for 500 for each banished monster, each banished Pyro. Then if that happens successfully, you can go ahead and search this card from the deck. I only run one of it. That's all I needed was just to set it on the deck, set it on the field, have Emperor on the field, burn my opponent. Then, if I were to have the entire complete board with Veidos on my opponent's side of the field, I usually use a mission to target their Veidos, burn them for 28. Now they're at 3,700 life points, and Volcanic Emperor burns you 500 every time you special summon, and that came in clutch. I had this one amazing opponent that was running Rikas and Sunvalon, incredible deck. It was amazing. And we were at crunch time. We're 1-1. I have a minute left on the clock. My opponent has already just passed their turn. 50 seconds on the clock. I have to go through my entire plays, and I managed to go through everything. And in the middle of it, I managed to summon my 5th monster. It was not Emperor, but I had a Banshee on the field, and I normal summoned, and I normal summoned. It ended up being my 5th summon, so they managed to just tribute all my monsters with Nibiru. And then I managed to just special summon Emperor, banish 3, flip 15 for damage, and that was time. And that was crazy with the Volcanic Emperor being that clutch to just be a monster that special summons and burns, especially during pivotal moments like that when it comes to time. Okay, another one would be I ran 1 set rotation. I am technically a field spell deck with Obsidian City and Throne. I give my opponent Obsidian City, and I give myself Throne. Pot of Prosperity, you have to have your search cards. Your search cards are very important. Pot of Prosperity is very important when you need to just dig deep for your Ashen cards and your Yubel cards. You need that utility, and I believe that Pot of Prosperity did help me with that. The half damage did give my opponent an extra turn, but I still had a mission face down that allowed me to progress further and burn them for game. Call by the Grave. Not a fan of this card, but I do have it in there. It's mandatory. March Army, on your turn, just go ahead and banish it with this. Did not see Call by the Grave at all. Saw Pot of Prosperity about 2 or 3 games. Set rotation 50% of the time. It was after game 1, game 2 got it. After game 2, game 3 got it. So this card came in handy. And then we have one more. Got to use it only once. It was Lightning Stormed. Awakening the Dragon. We're in a time where your opponent can wipe your entire board. They'll either banish it with Cosmic Cyclone, or they will Lightning Storm you. Have one of these. You never know. It might come in clutch. My duel was a draw with my opponent because they had they destroyed my Awaken the Dragon, and I managed to spell my Yubel. Summon my Yubel with it, and they couldn't do anything. So we ran out of time. He was on main phase. Couldn't go to battle phase. Nothing would have happened. And bam, no pain was on the field, so it was just standstill. And it was a draw, 1-1. Okay, now for the extra deck. Extra deck was pretty insane. This is my extra deck. Right now we have for the Ashen one, we have Embers of the Ashen. This card can be summoned when I used Extinguishing the Ashen by banishing it. 2 Pyros is all you need. When Embers summon, you can add a field card from the graveyard to the hand. That's a really great advantage, especially knowing that I'm a Yubel and Ashen deck. If I have Throne in the graveyard, I can just add Throne back to my hand and give me follow-up next turn. Pretty crazy with Ember. I like it. Next one was the clutchest monster ever. It was Veidos, the Dragon of Endless Darkness. This card is amazing. It's the clutchest monster. It's a built-in Harpy Feather Duster. It is a built-in Ghost Ogre. It is crazy. All you have to do is just tribute an Ashen monster on an Ashen card on the field and pop a monster that activated its effect. Plus, this monster cannot be destroyed by card effects and cannot be targeted by monster effects. That's crazy. That's nuts. This monster, it's busted. I like it. Saw the field all the time, and it was really hard for my opponent to get over it. I managed to summon about 4 times throughout the entire tournament in key moments. Then for the Yubel, 1 Yubel, the Loving Defender Forever. Summoned him a few times, maybe I think about 3 times I managed to summon this card, but it wasn't intended for victory, mainly because I needed to just summon it and fuse just to survive. but saw the field. We did good on it. Another one. Oh, it also burns your opponent. Very good advantage in the tournament. And then, of course, the Phantom Yubel. Just the one. Comes in handy all the time. You're just going to want to summon this card ASAP. That's why I run so many Yubels in the deck. Because I could summon it first turn, normal summon Priestess, and just go off. It's pretty crazy. That's your Yubel, Ashened, Engine. These are your main monsters. I saw these cards on the field. If I'd say throughout my entire extra deck, these cards were on the field 90% of the time. Over every other card. I have all these other ones that I'll show you. That these monsters were the ones that saw the field. It's crazy. For non-engine ones, we got Relinquish Anima. For D lotus and squirmer, just to link them off. If your monsters get imperm, link them off, go Anima. Keep baiting out their effects. So I managed to go against the Rika player, amazing player. I had Samsara D lotus was no, I had a squirmer in my hand. I had a D lotus on the field, a dead D lotus. Already triggered it, was negated. Okay, that happened. Then I summoned squirmer. Squirmer linked them away, summoned Anima in a card zone, and my opponent had a Therion monster with Regulus attached to him. So I managed to use Anima's effect, bait out that negate. Bang, baited out the negate. We're getting advantage over my opponent. And then I go Squirmer, Special Use Spirit from the graveyard. I had more plays than that. So Anima came in clutch. Another monster. Didn't see play at all, but Blackluster Soldier. It's a great card. You're going to have more than 3 monsters that are level 7 and higher. So comes in, it will come in handy eventually, but I do have them in there for the case that I only have Yubels on the field and all my Nightmare Pains are gone. I'm just going to go into BLS and then hopefully start beating you over with that. Build them to like 4,000 plus attack and then see if I can just banish their entire field slowly. Another one, Underworld Goddess. You gotta have her. I could summon a full board of as many monsters as I want with further extension. So Goddess does come in handy when you do need to tribute that one toxic monster that's on the field. I went against Kangas and he managed to summon the new Blue Eye Spirit monster. I had no way to get over that monster and I was forced to go into Goddess in that part. I still lost. But Goddess did allow me to stay alive for 2 more turns. So that was really great. Because also, she negates a card that special summons from the graveyard. And True Light didn't work. Then you had another monster. He's the new Maiden monster. He tried to special summon her from the graveyard, but I used Goddess. Don't allow, and then I lost from there. Good though. Your XZ's monsters. Gonna want to see the Fire King Chicken. It's a pyro monster. It's a nuke on the field in case you have nothing but the Ember, Emperor, or King on the field and you need to overlay for them. You're going to go ahead and do that and clear that toxic board. Then you're going to want to go ahead and have Banshee. Banshee is one of your clutchest monsters. When you detach a monster from her, add a pyro. 100% you are detaching to add Volcanic Emperor from your graveyard, from your deck to your hand. 100% doing that. You're going to use Extinguishing the Ashen to fuse Eternal Flame and Emperor for Ember, and then you go off from there. It's crazy. For Ember, and then you'll use Emperor in the graveyard to fuse. It's crazy, man, how mind-boggling this deck is. Next, you're going to run the Typhon. Typhon's pretty good. I used them twice. Didn't help me win the game though. I don't think 2,900 is enough for such a great card like this. It has such a great card, it just turns off any monster that has 3,000 or more attack. But I feel as if it needs something else, and it just won't have that. So I had to summon him in attack position against my opponent, just to hit him once. It wasn't worth it because my opponent still top deck to clutch card. Then your super poly target, it's gonna be Swamp. It's gonna be Garura. They did not see play at all. So I just have them. Super poly targets. Monster that came in clutch at my last duel was Veidos, the bringer of the end times. One of the most toxic extra deck monsters. It is an Omni negate, a pop, and a pop. This card is insane. I'm really glad this card exists because Yubel definitely needed a card that can do this. Knowing how many times I can summon a level 10 on the field. Pretty insane. Well, that's the extra deck. I do have a side deck, but side deck does vary depending on the player. So I'm just going to go through this real quick. Because this is what I brought. Super Poly, a Super Poly, an Imperm, and an Imperm. Right? Pretty self-explanatory. Then, Ash Blossom, and Ash Blossom. Right? An extra Lancia. Never know, you might need two sometimes. If you're really going to go against Mouse, I need to hard draw that immediately. But one I felt was comfortable and consistent. Skill Drain. Self-explanatory to your build deck. If you have never paid and a Skill Drain on the field, it is guaranteed GG's. Now, this is my card that it varies. You don't have to choose it, but this is how it works for me. This works for me is Sales Ban. If you have Sales Ban, I could just declare your card and you can't use it anymore. Your detonator is now dead. I just now stopped your detonator and I can go ahead and attack it as many times as I want. So this card is a really useful utility card, but that's just my opinion on it. Don't have to listen to me. Nibiru's. Now, Nibiru, really good card. In the Ashen deck, you're going to want to go ahead and go Nibiru. Summon that token in attack position when you have Ashen for Eternity on the field. Because Ashen for Eternity will take back that token. Because it's your token. And you can take it back with Eternity. And that if that token has like 15,000 attack, or 20,000 or 30,000, depending on how many monsters you distributed, you have GG's next game. Next turn. And also, all your opponent's monsters will lose 15,000+ attack. So, that's a really good card. Nibiru with Ashen for Eternity. And, of course, you gotta have the Cashier. Yeah. Don't main him, because I'm not trying to main this card. Because if I summon it first turn, I can't banish nothing. If I summon him first turn, I can't hit nobody. Plus, it's a 24 beater. It could be hit by a Bestial. Because my deck is dark, and I have this card in the graveyard, it's not much of a strong card. It could be hit. And even if my opponent activated the Bestial to summon it, and used Fenrir to banish the Bestial, I just wasted Fenrir on a Bestial. And then they go full on you. But I do have him inside. I am prepared for that. But this is just my side deck that I feel can punish the meta so far. Because I have anti-detonator, anti-everybody, you know how bad. Skill Drain, anti-everybody. That one's anti-everybody. Anti-malice. Kashtiras. Ryzeal. All that before they get the field card. Anti-play. 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 And punish when you activate a card effect. So that's all I came up with. But I didn't get to decide at all at the tournament. Because my deck was all gas. Alright. Well, thank you everybody for watching. That is the deck profile. It's crazy. You know, this is... I didn't set up everything. Let me see if I can just give this a quick shot. Yeah. Unedited raw. Chris Shuffle. Brand new shuffle. Okay. then the extra deck. Let's go ahead and draw the first one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. Pretty good in mine. Skill Pot of Prosperity will banish cost. When I banish cost at the tournament, the cards I banished was a goddess. I banished 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I banished the super fall targets. Those are the 6. It could be either one, whoever you want. One of those or so. Those were the 6 that I banished. The 6 options. Everyone else is just for you though, and your Ashen. And let's say they asked you. Oh, they asked you. Oh no, can't do nothing no more. Well, bam! Now you go extinguish. Now you'll be locked from the extra deck. And guess what? Get the Veidos. Add the Veidos. Go into the pay. Destroy the Veidos. Get the D-Low. Send the D-Low. Get rid of the D-Low. Summon the Spirit. Spirit effect. Get the Eternal Favorite up. This is just straight up raw.